Hello everybody, we are continuing on with our NHL season previews today, and we're going to be talking about the Anaheim Ducks. Now before we start, I wanted to say please subscribe to my channel if you are new to the channel, if you're new to hockey, whatever. The season is coming up, so I hope maybe you can, get into it, and I would love to have you along the way with me as I'm hoping to do this as a full-time career. Anyway, before we start too, I'd also like to say I apologize for my voice. It seems to be going out. Don't know why, but for my past two videos, my voice was going out. And of course, with this one, it probably will go out as well. We have to get through it as the season approaches, and we got to get these previews out. So let's talk about the Ducks. Anaheim had their best regular season point total since the 2018-19 season with a 76-point campaign with a record of 31-37-14 before missing the playoffs for the fourth straight season. Kind of frustrating, you had a better year than some recent years, but still wasn't good enough. And can Orange County faithful fans hope for a postseason berth? We'll talk about that as I give you some storylines to follow for this season, as well as my expectations for the team. So let's get into it. And the first storyline is going to be, what can Trevor Zegras do in year 3? You look at Zegras, he was or will be one game shy of hitting his 100 career NHL game mark to start this season, and is already looking to be a player you cannot miss. We all saw the goal from last season. It was going on places where they don't even normally talk about hockey, but they did, and it got mixed responses from hockey fans. Personally, I loved it. Other people were offended, triggered, I guess you could say. In my opinion, if you don't want a fancy goal to be scored on you, do something about it. And I don't mean go over there and bash a guy's head in that's good for the game. I mean, go and do something defensively. You're just mad because you're about to be put on a highlight reel, and that's just the reality of it. So that's kind of my take. But it's clear besides that this guy has potential. The former 9th overall pick is expected to be a big part of the Ducks' future, and if last year was an indication of what he brings to the table offensively, then things look great. Now, the 21-year-old, I think he would have been 20 at the time, had a 61-point campaign in a 75 regular season games played, which was good enough for second on the team, and I'm kind of wondering where it goes from here. He was 77th in the league last season, but he has got a big eye or big spotlight pointed on him as of right now, as he looks to take another step forward and is going to be expected to be a big part of the team this season. He will probably play top line minutes with fellow Ducks prospect Mason McTavish. I always say his name wrong. I'm going to get it right on the top line, and I'm not exactly sure how that will go, but I do think if we get a glimpse of this could be very exciting for the future. Mason is also a center. Will he play out on the wing for his whole career? Maybe not. They'll probably slide him on over a little bit more this year. They could probably have him out there on the wing as well. But back to Trevor, he is a guy that not only scored that big goal, but had the NHL cover for the video game. And for whatever reason, when you're on the cover, people treat you entirely differently, and they hate on you a lot. I don't know what it is about our league, our fans, but it's like when you get to be on the cover of NHL, whatever year it may be, you are the pinnacle of the league. Maybe you're not the most popular guy or the best player, but you will be talked about a lot, and you'll be criticized a lot more for that, and it cracks me up. But I do get it. At the same time, you have to know that he's going to be on a wild ride. He had that good goal. He had the cover, which was cool, but he's going to have to be a player that is a franchise player this season. He's in a spot, though, where he's in the opportunity to thrive. I mean, he was able to play more power play minutes on average than anybody else on his team last season, and I know that in year 3 he'll have to play opposing teams' best lines, but I'd love to think of him as a future point-per-game player, as he, of course, was very good last season. Hockey prospecting actually gives him a chance of being a player to average 0.7 points per game or more at 79%, which is good in all around. We could be looking at one of the faces of our league in the coming years. As for another storyline, let's circle back to McTavish, as he is a 19-year-old that did get his first cup of coffee in the NHL this past season. He was able to play 9 games and average a little over 13 minutes per night in his first stint in the league. Will he play a critical role for this team this season? That is what we're really all dying to figure out. Of course, he's still young and will have to develop a lot in terms of his mental and physical aspects to the league, and we'll probably only see him in situations that are even strength power play, 5-on-5, stuff like that. I don't think you'll see him on the PK, as he played just 3 minutes on there this past season, and it would not really make sense to throw him out there on a man down, especially when you look at the fact that he was not able to dominate shots for percentage and scoring chances for percentage when he was out there this season. But we know that he'll probably be focusing more on the offensive point of the game, and that's really where the organization is probably at with him as well. Will he play a lot with Trevor Zegras this year? I'm a little skeptical, as they might throw him out there on the wing and bring him back to the center more, or to center more as he progresses in the NHL. He did get some face-offs, but he didn't really play a lot of time with Trevor Zegras last season. Just about 10% of the time that he was out there, he played with him. Would it be fun to watch? Absolutely. Would it be productive? Offensively, probably. Defensively, probably not, as they would be playing better lines. Regardless, I do think the Canadian player that was born in Switzerland will get a chance to play more than 9 games with the team this season, and we'll get a better idea to how he'll adjust NHL life after we see him play this year, regardless of how many games that is. So I'm hoping for more good than bad. As for Anaheim, they could be looking pretty darn good if he is NHL ready after this season. As for the final storyline, we'll be talking about some fun additions the Ducks made this offseason that I would love to see pan out for them. The main ones being John Klingberg and Ryan Strome. Klingberg comes over to California after signing a 1-year, $7 million deal and had spent the previous 8 seasons with the Dallas Stars, and frankly was one of the bigger fish on the market, and I was glad to see him go to a team that might not have been right there ready to compete, but is on the up and up as people expect. And he is a blue liner that has 374 points in 552 career games, giving him a point per game average of 0.68, and had a 67-point season just a few years ago. But here he is. Is he in a great spot to help out his team as of right now, and what will that mean for him? Personally, I think he could be an impactful player for them, and he will either use that to get an extension with him or to sign a new deal with somebody else. In the past 3 seasons for defensemen, he ranks 18th for points and 15th for assists. For that, you know that he is going to be pretty good if those averages hold, and that is excluding his really impressive 67-point season for that 2017-18 season, so you know that this could bode well for them. I don't exactly know how he'll do on a new team in a new system, but Dallas wasn't as focused more on offensive scoring. However, I will say he played a lot of minutes with guys like Robertson, so in general you have to wonder, will he benefit from being in Anaheim, or will he suffer from not getting to play with guys like Robertson, who look to be potential 40-plus goal scorers in the coming years? Consistent guys we'll have to see. But for the puck-moving defenseman to have another good year, he might do well to have a good year and then do well for himself in the future. So there's that. Could he be a liability defensively? Possibly, but Anaheim will probably be more focused on scoring goals than they will be on allowing them, as they finished 24th for goals for per 60 last season. As for Ryan Strome, he's not a player a lot of fans would be like, oh my gosh, we got Ryan Strome. But he did have a nice little run in New York and is heading across country for a new phase in his career. The question then becomes, how good will he be without Artemi Panarin? But we'll get that answer soon enough, as he ends up on the second line, or is projected on the second line with Scary Terry. Strome could be a good secondary scorer for the Ducks this season too, and if Terry's career year is a sign of things to come, then the second line could be a very good thing to stabilize a team that's got a lot riding on their youth. My biggest concern with Strome is he may need to overlay on Terry to get the puck into the offensive zone in order to be effective. And like I said, playing with a guy like Artemi really does take a lot of pressure off of you. So if Terry is not able to have another big year, then this could be a little problematic, as you're relying on the 25-year-old to be a big player for him. But I am hoping for the best, and Strome's contract might not pan out down the line for a long-term deal, but in the short term, he could be a very valuable player for his new team. Having said all this, what are my expectations for Anaheim this season? Personally, I hate to say this, but I don't think they'll be able to make the playoffs. You look at the Central Division, they have some talent, so you'd probably be looking at trying to get into the top 3 of your division. There are teams in here that look to be much better than them or could be better than him. Calgary, where he can figure it on the fly. Then you have other teams like Vegas. They have some shiny pieces. Seattle, Vancouver, they look to be in the hunt. LA, and all around, I do worry that it could be hard for the Ducks to be a good team. But we'll have to see, because before they had that crash in the second half of the season last year, they looked like they were going to be there. I do anticipate some more growing pains for them, and I do wonder exactly where John Gibson fits in to their future after having valleys and peaks and just all kinds of stuff. At this point in his career, is it going to be the goalie they need him to be? I really don't know. There's a lot of questions here, but I do hope they can build off last season and head into the right direction, as they've got plenty of exciting youth and will be a fun team to watch this year. What are your expectations for the Anaheim Ducks this season? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like and subscribe if you are new. And of course, please make sure to stay safe, have a great night, and you go of hockey, all right? Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.